having a lovely day. I thought I would come on today to do a video about the top 5 reasons, in my opinion, that people don't believe in magic in this world. And I just feel that this video is coming at a very fitting time, seeing as there's a lot of chaos and disorder going on the world stage right now. And I just feel like a belief in magic can bring a lot of people hope, as it did for me, and that feeling of just being safe and secure in this universe that we were placed in, knowing that whoever put us here wouldn't have put us in an unsafe universe. So a lot of people that I talk to about magic, when I bring it up, I can see the doubt and the disbelief in their eyes. And that's a completely valid reaction because not everyone has had the experience of seeing magic at work in their life. And so if you don't witness it, then you don't build a belief in it. So the belief in magic comes when you begin to witness it at work in your own life. You become led in different directions. You follow your intuition and gut instincts. So anyway, I would like to talk about the top 5 reasons today that people in this world don't believe in magic. And then at the end of the video, I'll provide you with 2 ways that you can begin building your belief in magic today, right this moment, as soon as you stop watching this video. Coffee ready to go in my Hathor mug. Cheers to Goddess Hathor. So the first reason that people don't believe in magic is that they want proof and they don't believe the proof that they get. Now, the reason they don't believe the proof that they get is because they don't have a belief in magic. So even if something outright magical happened in their life, because they don't have the belief in magic, their ego mind or their unconscious mind will just almost shelter them from that information or from that possibility, and will put an emotion such as doubt, disbelief in their mind to pull them away from going down that road of magic if it's not in your life path, if it's not part of your journey. People want proof of magic, but they aren't willing to take the time to build their belief in magic. They just want it to happen overnight, and that's not how magic works. So as much as you want something like that to happen and you just want something magical to happen overnight, and then bam, there you go, you believe in magic, miracles happen. It could happen like that maybe, but in my experience, it takes time. It took me 8 years to build this belief in magic. And it's baby steps, every single step of the way. It's getting thoughts in your head and examining the thought and thinking, why is this thought coming into my head? Because the reason we have thoughts is it is a direct link to our creator, to whatever created us, whatever that force or source is. And it can communicate with us this way through our minds. Now, we don't know a lot about our thoughts. You know, yes, they come from our brain, but who's producing these thoughts? Why do certain ones land in certain people's minds and not in other people's minds? So this is something that I love to explore. You can't just wake up and think, I'm going to believe in magic today. It is a consistent effort, a continual consistent effort that you have to make to remember to pull yourself back to this belief. So even if you received proof of magic, you're not going to believe it if you don't have the belief in it. Your ego is just going to deny. Yeah, it was a coincidence. It's going to brush it off, and you're going to keep going and living your life. So there are ways that the system is hidden from us. And one of the ways that it hides from us is that we don't engage with it because we don't know it exists. And if we don't know it exists, we can't utilize it, and it can't help us. When you do start taking the steps to believe in magic, you take a step, and that magical force will also take a step. So you will receive a sign confirming that step that you took. You take another step, the universe matches that step. And that's it the whole way. You do not walk this path alone. You have so much assistance on the path to magic. If only you believed in it and understood how amazing this is and how it can change your entire life. Just transform everything. Your entire life can become a magical charm, an enchantment. And it's, for me, this has been the most exciting way to perceive my life and wake up every day with so much excitement to just live in this body and handle the challenges as they come. But it stems from, I feel safe in having this belief of magic in my life and knowing that I'm not alone, that there is this unseen force that dabbles in our lives that helps us and assists us if we want it to. It can also hinder us If our soul's here to learn a really important lesson, then this force will kind of be on the back burner. You know, it's hard to constantly be in a positive, optimistic mindset because living in this world can get quite heavy and it tends to drag you down. So a belief in magic is something that can lift you up out of the darkness, give you hope, give you faith. It can be that life raft in a stormy sea that gets you to shore, just knowing that you're not alone in this. And once you start witnessing, building the belief in magic, there's no stopping you. You can become the most magical being that ever lived. This is my goal. But I mean, literally, there's nothing stopping you. It's just your mind you have to get through. Everything in your physical environment is a reflection of your mind. I think of it as that we live, the fridge just creaked, confirmation, but we live inside our imaginations. And I mean this literally and metaphorically. All day long, we live in here. We have thoughts that cycle around our minds all day long. We also live out here. This is a reflection of the content and the energy that we feel inside of us and that we hold inside of us. So, for example, if you are a very negative person, you just have a tendency to always see the negative or dark side of things. If it's raining outside in your 3D environment, let's say the stage is set for the day and it's raining, and you come out and you look out your window and the first thought you project onto that scene and that stage for the day is, oh, what a miserable day. So now you've set the stage for your day to be a miserable day. And your wish is the universe's command, essentially. So building a belief in magic is essentially a way to take your conscious power back, to utilize these energies that are here to help us. There is so much untapped potential in our minds, in how our minds connect and relate to our environment. And we're only beginning to dig the surface here. I will give you an example of how magic shows up in my life. So a few years ago, this was after my self-love challenge. I was at a very, very high peak in my life energetically. This was the end of my self-love challenge. So I had just done 365 days of constantly telling myself the affirmation, I love myself. I was very, very high on self-love. I was so high that I essentially escaped this reality and no one around me knew what was going on with me and why I was acting the way I was. I was ripping up my mom's calendar and telling her that time did not exist. Obviously doing strange things that in this world, you know, I said that I was moving props in the kitchen, saying that I was setting the stage for the next scene. And so my parents were baffled. And I spent some time in the psychiatric ward while everyone tried to figure out what was going on with me. And while the doctors diagnosed me with psychosis, that was their opinion. They don't actually know the truth of the situation because they don't hold the belief in magic that I hold. So this whole time that I was in the hospital, I was there for 6 weeks. I knew that I was in there as part of my journey, that I was doing research essentially, and I was just there to be there and be fully present in that experience. And the night that I actually went to the hospital, I had let my dog loose out behind our apartment. And this was normal. I did this all the time. I left him playing with the angels. And to me, this was normal. I let him off his leash and I was looking at him and all of a sudden he was gone. And I had no worries or stress in my mind. And I just thought, oh, he's with the angels chasing squirrels. And I went back inside. I left him outside of our apartment building and there's like train tracks behind our building. So obviously I was doing things that I wasn't rationalizing. I was completely in my intuitive mind and I had no contact with my logical mind at this point. My logical mind wasn't there to chime in and say, hey, you should, go out and get your dog. I had been texting my friend and my texts were sounding a little strange. So they wanted to come over and check on me. And so when they got there, I was sitting on the floor because I was very spaced out. Like, I know they said when they looked in my eyes, they didn't see me. And it's because I had just woken up to the truth of what this world is, which is an illusion. And so my friend asked me where Shadow was. And I said, he's with the angels outside chasing squirrels. And it had been hours since I left him out there because it was dark now and I had let him out in the daylight. And right before my friend could freak out or, realize, well, that doesn't make sense. What does she mean by that? We heard a dog barking outside. So my friend ran downstairs and it was Shadow. And the man that found Shadow said that he found him earlier in the day chasing squirrels. And my friend was just kind of taken aback, and he came back up to the apartment and he said he found Shadow chasing squirrels. And I was like, see, told you, he's fine. So I always wonder, like, was that man a guardian angel? I don't know, but that is magic. That is just knowing that everything will work out for your highest good. You are untouchable. You are unharmable. You have to hold this belief for it to be true. If you walk around with a lot of fear in your mind, then your external world is going to reflect this fear to you. It's going to show you a fear-filled world. But when you believe and you have faith, then you are going to be reflected a faith-filled world that you have nothing to worry about. And that was just one of the examples that happened to me. Okay, so the second thing that happened, very magical thing, while I was in the hospital, is one night at the hospital, they had just rolled the dinner trays into the cafeteria where we would all eat. And I couldn't find the tray with my name on it. So I was like, oh, there's no dinner for me. Okay. And instead of going to ask the nurse, they forgot to give me a meal. I was like, I'm just going to go for a walk. I don't want to bother anyone. It's fine. I don't need to eat. And I signed myself out because I was allowed to go for walks around the hospital. So I signed myself out, and there were these swings in front of the hospital, like these bench swings. And I was sitting and I was swinging on it, and I was in normal clothes. I didn't have any money on me, nothing like that. I had a hospital wristband on, and a city bus pulled up right in front of me, and there was an ad on the side of the bus, and it was an Arby's ad, and it said, "Are you hungry?" And I saw it and I thought, yes, I am. And so something inside me was like, this bus is going to lead me to my dinner. It's going to lead me to food because there's a sign right there on the door or on the side of the bus. So I walked up to the bus and I knocked on the door, and the lady opened it, and I said, "Are you going downtown?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Will you take me?" And she said, "You don't have any money?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Sure, hop on." And I got on, and we saw a rainbow as soon as I sat down, and a rainbow was one of my signs. So I knew I was being guided. So even though I was in my intuitive mind, my rational mind was still there at this point. It was like I was coming back down, and I understood that I had gone through this very spiritual experience that no one around me really understood. So I went up and asked her for a transfer. Like, I got a thought in my head that said, go ask her for a transfer before you get off. So I did. And that way I could get back to the hospital. So we went downtown. That's where this bus was going. It went to like the busiest intersection in the city that I live. And I was like, I'm going to get off here. And I don't know where I was going, but I got off at this busy intersection. I walked about 10 feet and I saw a coworker that I hadn't seen in a couple months. And we were also friends. And she's a single mother that didn't have a lot of money, but she was on her way to McDonald's with her son, and she offered to buy me dinner. And we caught up, and I was telling her all about my journey, and she bought me a pop and a chicken wrap. And then I went back to the hospital after, and no one even knew I was gone. And I had dinner, just like the sign had told me. So this is magic. You could look at it with the perspective of, no, that's just crazy. That's just coincidence. What a boring, unfulfilling way to look at what happened to me. That was the most magical thing that has ever happened to me, the most magical experience. And it's been now the past few years anchoring this belief, grounding it into reality. Because when you build a belief, it starts in your mind, and then it will ripple out into your world through you, through the belief that you're building within you. Okay? So there is my proof. That was a very long number one to start with, but the other ones will be much shorter. So we'll get on to number two now. The second reason that people do not believe in magic is that other people around them don't believe in it. If we are raised by people and generations of people that don't have this belief, then we're not just going to wake up with it one day. This is something that we have to become aware of, that there's a lack of in this world, or a lack of in our lives, and then start digging for more of that lack of what we're wanting in our life to come forth and to bring it into our life, to conjure essentially this belief to manifest itself in our life. If you are surrounded by non-believers, that doesn't affect you in the sense that if you start to build the belief, you will be shown magic. They will not. And so they will not be with you on that journey, but you will always be met for your efforts. The universe will always meet you and reward you for taking those steps to build the belief. So the best thing that you can do if other people around you don't believe in magic is just understand that their opinion is valid because they're coming from their own life experience. And in their life, magic hasn't existed because they don't have the belief. Now you wanting to build the belief and starting to sense that magic is real and there could be something more to these things that we call coincidence, that is like a new, that's something new that you can pass on to now future generations, children that you may have. And that is how a belief can grow through time into lineages, into generations. But right now we are dealing in this world with a lack of faith in this world. There's such a lack of faith, which is crazy because religion is huge in this world. But I do feel like a lot of the religions of this world can be very judgmental and almost cause more of a division among people than bring them together. So again, just be very open-minded towards others' beliefs, but don't let others deter you from your path and from what you know is true. Because another person will never be able to confirm for you what you know in your heart. You can only confirm, or the universe can confirm for you by setting you signs if magic is real. But another person will never be able to confirm for you if magic is real. Even me telling you this in this video, you're still not going to believe it until you start making those steps to actually believe and pay attention to the signs. Don't fall into the herd. You are unique. We are all unique sparks of creation that came here with a divine purpose. And other people in your life that don't believe this are on different journeys. So if you know in your heart that magic is real and you really want to start believing this belief or building this belief, you 100% can do that. And I'll give you some tips at the end of this video. Don't let other people bring you down. They're not here to live your life. You are. Okay, so the third reason that people don't believe in magic is because they start to, and they may have a few good days where things do seem to be lining up and they're noticing synchronicities, but then all of a sudden there just comes like a few days or weeks or months where you don't receive any signs and it feels like the universe has cut off all contact with you. You feel lost, you feel lonely. I call this falling back into the unconscious. So when you're waking up, you have moments of awareness, but you're always going to come down to anchor that feeling into your lowest level of being. So because we heal in layers, you can feel yourself healing. But the unconscious always pulls us back in to heal it, to bring it into the light so that it doesn't need to come up anymore and create in our lives. We all have this power to heal ourselves of everything that disturbs us, any ailments that we have. We hold this power. But if you don't believe that you do, then it's not going to manifest and you can't do anything with it. You have to build the belief. It starts with the belief. People just have a few good days believing in magic. They feel really hopeful and then they don't receive any signs. It's like radio silence on the universe's part. And this is because I call this integrating. This is an integration period. You were integrating everything that you learned during the high when you were feeling happy and optimistic and in your power. You're anchoring that now into the lower. So when life brings you back down and you're aware of this, you're aware that, oh, I was feeling really high and happy the past few days and now I feel really down and dark. So now you can start excavating yourself out of that spot to get back up to the light, because now you have a reference point of where you want to be. And that's how you dig yourself out of the unconscious. And I mean, in this game of life, it's always going to pull us back. It's like a sea. It's like it ebbs and it flows and the waves come in and they crash and they sweep you away. And that's life. That's the unconscious coming in to shake things up and take you for a ride. And that's what we signed up for as humans on this planet Earth. So that is the third reason that people don't believe in magic, is that they give up before the true magic really starts to manifest in their life, and they feel defeated. That they maybe worked so hard for a week trying to build their belief, and now the next week they're not getting any signs. Be patient. You have to be so patient and consistent on this path, and just never give up. Never give up. Even if you have been building your belief and then you stop for 3 months and you forget all about magic for 3 months, but then one day you remember and you start again. That is so important, and everyone needs to do this. I really do feel that this slow awakening will lead to a huge collective awakening that will affect everyone and every form of life on this planet. So the fourth reason that people don't believe in magic is that they think their pain gives them a valid excuse to avoid a faith-filled life. So a lot of people who have things that happen to them, this happened to my life when I had my skin condition that I was dealing with, you fall into victim mindset and victim mentality, and it's really hard to get out of that. And magic cannot reach you. Love cannot reach you when you're, and love is magic, by the way, but it can't reach you when you're in that low vibration. So you have to lift yourself out by remembering to when you're feeling that low. But that's one of the reasons that people don't believe in magic, is because they want to stay angry at the world, because they feel that the world has maybe turned its back on them or dealt them a shitty hand in life. And so they're not going to believe in faith because they haven't been shown anything that gives them that feeling of having faith and security. And when you step out of this energy, you can sense it and see it in other people so much. And it really is a good way to create boundaries for yourself, because people can kind of latch on to your light and your magic and suck it from you, essentially. This is done unconsciously, but when you become aware of the magic of life and aware that everything is actually alive, you can set energetic boundaries, and people can't bring you down to these levels anymore, because essentially you're so high, you've anchored so much light that your belief is built. You've built a solid foundation for this belief now that nothing will tear it down or shake it up in your life. So yeah, that's one of the reasons, is that people they use their pain as an excuse to continue believing in a world of fear. And unless you step out of that mindset, it's never going to change for you. The fifth and final reason that I thought of that people don't believe in magic is that they feel disempowered by the current systems in this world. They feel powerless. Their light diminishes and fear takes over. And this is something that, if you watch the news, it could be that you are at the lowest end of the spectrum of believing in magic, because they call it television programming for a reason. Television, it's telling a vision and it's programming you with this vision. So when you're getting depressing news and this is going on in the world and this war and this war and this hate and this terrorism and all this, you feel very disempowered and defeated, and you get lost in your mind and you think, oh no, and you're thinking and you don't know what to do. There's no solutions for this fear. So they love to give us this fear, but they don't give us any solutions on how to release it or process it, so that we're not repressing it and storing it to explode and come out in another time when emotions are high. So essentially, people forget to remember this world. Living in this world makes people forget to remember to believe in magic. When we are born, we are pure, we are innocent. Maybe we come in with a belief in magic, but unless that belief is nurtured, it shuts off, it becomes dormant, and it takes a step back in our life to honor our free will, because this is a planet of free will currently. But the way that we are evolving, soon those negative vibrations and these feelings of disempowerment and victim mentality, this is all being cleansed from the planet right now. People are going to wake up to their empowerment and knowing how amazing and divine and light-filled we are. And so, yeah, not only other people bringing you down, but the systems in this world bringing you down, and feeling disempowered by the things people are saying. Everywhere you turn, people are saying the sun is dangerous for you. There's just so many things that they want you to be afraid of. And if you succumb to all these fears, your light becomes very dim. And when your light is dim, your soul goes around feeling lost and empty and looking for something to fill it. And so that's when people might turn to things to cope, like food, smoking, drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, things to escape, essentially. because they don't want to face this crazy, scary world that the news is showing them every day. So they want to go into their world because they don't know how else to handle it. So the way to handle it is to remember that you are a magical, powerful being, and always bring yourself back to this thought. Anytime you remember, anytime you forget, you just bring yourself back to a place of remembering. And if you don't know how to remember, there are so many ways that you can remember. You can set an alarm on your phone to go off every day. Have you practiced building your belief today? And you can just do this by injecting a loving thought into your mind about the belief that you want to build. Just something to bring you back to your goal of your ultimate goal of, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to build a belief in magic, and constantly realigning your own self and your unconscious mind with that goal. And you do this from inside your unconscious mind. Little by little, a light turns on inside you and lights everything up. And it's going to come out in layers. It's going to come out piece by piece. So it's just an amazing, magical ride. And now I'm going to give you 2 ways that you can begin building your belief in magic. Both of these are listed on my website. I'll put the link here for you. It's www.heatheranntelpa.com. And I have a program called the Conscious Mind Program, and there are currently 2 lessons to this program. I am in the middle of writing a 3rd, which is talking about how to transmute through addictions. But the first lesson deals with how to heal your inner environment. And this, you can start building your belief in magic by simply becoming aware of the content inside your mind. So what kind of thoughts are you thinking? So when you're on YouTube and you see a video pop up from someone, is your first instinct to judge that person in that video, or to watch with an open mind, and just becoming aware of these things and not shaming yourself, not feeling guilty for noticing that, oh, I was judging that person, but then now being able to step out of that judgment and see from a higher level. So one way that you can do this is just constantly injecting loving thoughts into your mind. So anytime you get an unsettling thought, or a thought that you don't want to be thinking, a thought that is taking you farther away from magic or a belief in magic, you want to inject a love-filled thought in that moment into your mind. You want to say, I love myself. I am magic. Magic is my birthright. I am a magical being. You just want to say things that will empower you and empower that belief inside you as much as you can, and just keep doing this over time, because we're here anyway. Time is going on anyway. So if you start building this belief now, in 5 years, you'll be that much further ahead because you've already started to build this belief. Whereas people who are denying right now that magic exists, they're going to be a lot further behind because their minds are more closed than people who are starting to take these little baby steps. And people who have closed minds, I always think that their soul is here on a special journey. I just realized that my freaking compost is in the background this whole video. So I hope that doesn't bother you. So the first lesson in my program just talks about injecting loving thoughts into your mind consistently, on a consistent basis. When you're washing the dishes, when you're walking your dog, anytime you find your mind wandering to think about stress or things you need to worry about or bills you need to pay, or what if this happens tomorrow and what if this happens, and bringing your mind back always to a calming, loving place, reaffirming, I am safe, I am loved, I am protected, reaffirming whatever you need to reaffirm in that moment to bring you peace and clarity and calm. So that is the first step. It's very simple, but it takes consistency. You can't just say, I love myself for one day and expect that your belief in magic will be built, okay? This is a path that you have to be dedicated and devoted to. I'm a Taurus, so I have it in my blood that building stable foundations is just a big part of who I am. But it's slow and steady wins the race. It doesn't happen quickly. It doesn't happen overnight. We take our time with things. And this is how you build the most stable foundation. If you don't question the content inside your mind, who's going to? You're the only one that's in there. You're the only one that can own up to the thoughts that you think. And no matter how much you deny that you are a certain way, if you think, I don't judge people, we all have to own up. We all have these things that we do, and we project onto other people because we feel this way about ourselves. When you judge someone else, it's because you judge yourself. It's always reflection. So when you release judgment from yourself, you no longer judge other people. So when you notice that you're judging other people, the way to release yourself from this judgment is to pull yourself back in that moment to a loving thought inside your mind, to say, no, I want to trade in this experience right now for a loving thought, for a loving moment. Like, let's erase this non-magical thing that's happening in my life for more magic. And you can trade it in. It takes time and consistency and patience, but just keep it up. And you'll get signs that will confirm things for you, that you are right. You will get your proof. When you take the steps, you will receive your proof, and that's all you need to keep going. And that pretty much leads into the second way to build belief, which is my lesson 2 of my Conscious Mind program, which is building belief through perception and synchronicity. So, getting a thought in your mind and then going out for a walk and seeing a sign or something that relates to a thought that you had earlier, or seeing repetitive numbers or names or symbols or animals. This is life beginning to speak to you consciously. And even if you become aware of these signs and you don't know what they mean, I would suggest starting to write a journal. And I tell you how to do this on the program. I'll put a link again. And it's so easy. It's like you become a detective of your daily environment, and you're just marking down everything that's happening. The name Raven popped out at me 3 times today, or I was talking to my therapist about stepping out of my comfort zone, and then a van drove by that said comfort zone heating and cooling on the side. Just anything synchronistic that happens to you that can help you begin building that belief. And within a month of doing this, within 1 month, probably within a week or 2, you will start to notice consistency, and that you calling in this belief in your life is making it appear to you in the 3D, and is making miracles and magic appear in your world and in your life. So this is a real thing. And again, I can't prove it unless you yourself take the steps. All I can show you is how this belief has changed my life, and share it with others if they want this information. I really believe that a belief in magic would take such a weight off everyone's shoulders in this world. A lot of people love to hold on to their stress and worries. And when you build a belief in magic, that's you stepping away from your stress and worries. That's you stepping away and saying, listen, I trust that there is a system in place that maybe I don't understand right now, but I'm going to start trying to understand it better. And then you taking those steps to consciously begin communicating with this system. And you do that through your mind. And then it will reflect in your physical environment. So I hope this helps you. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, I just really wanted to get on and talk about this today, because I feel like this world is just spiraling right now, and we need hope and love and light and positivity. And this is what I'm bringing to you today. I'm bringing to you hope that you can take back the power of your life, but you just need to build the belief in yourself first that you can do this, and that you're not alone in this task, that all of life will show up to support you when you make this step. Okay, so I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you all in my next video. Love and light. Bye, Starlit Souls.